Buen dia. I'm Carmen Nanko Fernandez, professor of Hispanic theology and ministry at the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago. Let us not be afraid to get our hands dirty on the construction site of our time. With urgency, in these words, Pope Leo charges us all, Catholics, Christians, and people of goodwill. In his encyclical, Magnifica, Humanitas, Leo identifies that construction site as a civilization of love, an ongoing project at the heart of over a century of Catholic social teaching. The predominant metaphor of Leo's encyclical is the act and process of building. He focuses our collective energies on tending our construction site, impacted by res novae that challenge us today to consider what it means to be human. He observes, quote, while some are vying for the future of new technologies and others dedicate themselves to reflecting on the matter, most people are watching and waiting, observing from afar and merely hoping for the best. Leo calls us out of passivity, complacency, and resignation with a metaphor rooted in manual labor. To get our hands dirty is an appeal to respond with an investive, exertive, and embodied participation. What does it mean to get our hands dirty in an era of digital transformation? The Pope proposes 5 paths for our praxis. These are directions for all of us, including those involved in the development, use, and propagation of AI and other digital technologies. First, Leo professes the need to disarm words. This is not to be confused with silencing. Rather, it is a call to speak up in ways that do not replicate behaviors that denigrate the dignity and humanity of others, including those who might be considered adversaries. Leo also uses the term to disarm with reference to AI. He explains, quote, to disarm does not mean rejecting technology, but preventing it from dominating humanity. Second, Leo encourages building peace through justice. For Leo, peace is neither a naive hope nor merely the absence of war, and it is expected to guide our daily interactions and relationships. Leo describes justice in terms of who suffers most from failed peace and justice denied. This insight leads to his third direction, adopting the perspective of victims. The meteoric and unregulated rise of AI puts us all in a position of vulnerability and a loss of control, something those with privilege don't often experience. The preferential option for the poor and vulnerable, however, demands that in our discernment, decisions, and actions, we consider first their impact on those among us affected the hardest by the economic fallout and the exploitation of labor and resources. Fourth, cultivating a healthy realism is predicated upon a realization that if one suffers, we all suffer. Disinformation, whether it's spread out of malevolence or ignorance, is dangerous to us all. It compromises trust and reduces truth to a relative concept. War, no matter how remote, has rippling consequences, experienced across our globe locally, economically, and in the damage done to our common home. Solidarity unveils the futility and the risks of naive optimism, indifference, and despair. We are called to a critical analysis and engagement with the complex realities of our times, a responsibility suited not only to our social scientists, philosophers, educators, and theologians, but to our artists, poets, construction workers, students, and street prophets as well. The fifth trajectory, reviving dialogue and multilateralism, spurs us to listen deeply, to recognize the strengths and limitations of our perspectives, to strategize together, to negotiate with an understanding that we are interconnected, to foster relationships, yet realize that first we may need to do the painful work of repairing, healing, reconciling, restoring. It is serendipitous that less than a month after the release of his encyclical, Leo visited Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain. It is estimated that this basilica, begun in 1882, will be completed in 2036. A perennial construction site, it bears the imprint of 144 years of laborers, artists, donors, and dreamers. Eclectic in design, Sagrada Familia reflects the vision of its architect, Antoni Gaudí, yet it reveals the subtle but distinctive touches from subsequent generations of artisans. The edifice holds memories of struggles that are scarred and even attempted to destroy it. In recent years, technological and digital advances help accelerate the building process to this near completion point. Embedded into the first facade, completed by Gaudí before his death in 1926, is the local presence of his time. From the flora and fauna to the hens and the donkey to the biblical figures, all are real beings and real people. The models were construction workers, a tavern keeper, mothers, fathers, and their children, military buglers, and an infant girl as the newborn Jesus. In the faces and bodies from the Nativity through the flight into Egypt, the old neighborhood comes to life again, an enduring reminder of who the church is and who the builders are and must be. Let us not be afraid to get our hands dirty on the construction site of our time.